Your face.
Yeah,
The
this was
next
like
day.
2004 or 5, man, or 6 or something like that. But they put me in there, and then the jailers, they put me in. Hey, Rack, acá te ponemos en un cuarto solo, carnal, no te agüites, no te metemos en el tanque con todos los locos y la chinga.
We're
Que
gonna
esto,
bring
lo
you a
otro.
water
Sí,
burger with
me
cheese.
metieron and it was freezing in that little room, man.
Yeah.
And then they'd go through the speaker, hey, Rock, asústame one time, Rock, And so I was a celebrity catch. That cop, I think he was a rookie, man, and he became an overnight sensation,
Sure.
I guess, or overnight name. So, well, I got out the next day, and I went to court, and the judge, the cop didn't show up, and the judge was the type of judge, because they say when the cop doesn't show up, do they throw it out of court?
So you'd have to raise like a motion saying I'm gonna suppress some evidence, whether it be the stop was illegal, something about the way they arrested you didn't have enough evidence. You can file a motion to have a hearing in which the law enforcement officer will have to come to court to testify
Yeah.
as to what he observed that night.
See.
And so if an officer doesn't show up to that hearing, there's no evidence for the judge to consider, and therefore your case could be thrown out. Most of these courts now do at least 2 continuances before
Yeah.
they'll dismiss it there. But I'm sure back in
Yeah.
the day, it was
Pues a mí
one.
me resultó un judge que, le da un second chance al
Okay.
policía para que vaya.
Sure.
So then I went the following court date, right? And I walked into the court, actually the hallway. So, I was going into the court house, and the cops were like all talking, yeah, and then they saw me, and they got into like a little huddle, and my wife was like, I guess they saw you already. So then I went into the courtroom, and the attorney, the policeman went on, under oath,
Sure.
right? He put his Bible on, so he promised to say the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, y esto, lo otro, ¿verdad? So se subió el policía, and my attorney said, okay, started asking him some questions, and he asked him, how were you able to tell if my client was inebriated? And the cop said, he couldn't walk. He was staggering. He was holding on to his car to keep from falling.
Sure.
And I looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and we were shocked, dude, that he was lying up up
Sure.
there. And so my attorney said, how far is the station from where you arrested him? Oh, it's not too far. I go, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? About 5-10 minutes. That's what the cop said. And then my attorney said, is that enough time for my client to have sobered up, if he was staggering? So his lie kind of helped me.
Sure.
And he said, no. And he goes, okay, Your Honor, I have something that I'd like for you to see. And it was the recording of the video of me doing the field sobriety test. He came out and he just said, case dismissed.
Sure.
I mean, he didn't even,
Sure.
and it was over.
Yeah.
But I learned a few things out of that DWI. One of them is that, man, cops can lie under oath. And another thing is that you still have to pay some money, man, even if it's dismissed.
Sure.
Because my license was taken away because I refused to do the breathalyzer. And how much is it to get your license back when that happens? It's like $1,500 or $2,000 or something like that. Because the attorney can't get your license back. It's all with the Department of Public Safety, right? What's the rule on that?
So correct. So technically, when you've been arrested for suspicion of driving while intoxicated, the officer will normally give you a notice of suspension.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's a DCR 24, basically telling you, look, you've been placed on notice that DPS will be seeking to suspend your driver's license for this suspicion of driving while intoxicated. We need to hear from you within 15 days if you're going to contest that suspension. And so a lot of people don't know that as soon as you're arrested for DWI, there is a time table for you to start working on your case, and that's 15 days initially to at least let DPS know that you're going to want to fight or contest the suspension of your license. And so it's very easy. We can send a fax, a letter, and that triggers a hearing at some point in the future. But the good thing about that is that your license remains valid until there's a determination made by a judge on your license suspension, which is completely independent from your criminal case that you're going to have to deal with in a couple of weeks after being arrested. And so a lot of people don't understand that there's two different timetables that are running once
So
you're
would I have had an opportunity to keep my license even though I didn't do the breathalyzer?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow, man, I didn't know that.
Yes. So again, an administrative judge, usually here locally, they're done at the Lark Library in McAllen, Texas. An administrative judge will drive down. There's an attorney there that represents DPS. And then we have a hearing based on the determination. Of course, the burden of proof that the state has to prove is much less than they would have to prove that in a criminal court. But there is a process. There is a way by which you can actually or could have actually fought that suspension.
And if you know, since I got it suspended, right, and I would have had to pay back because I didn't know about that grace period or whatever you're talking about what you're talking about. Then I had to either wait a year or something, and I could still get my license back, but I have to wait, right?